All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is June 25th, 2018, and this is a Monday night webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is Make It Simple and Know the Best Trades and Targets in Advance. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we'll go ahead and get started. By the way, just a real quick heads up for members. You know, I'm on the members page right now, the members area, which requires the login. And everybody that's a member, you already know your login. That's given to you when you join. But if you have any questions on that, be sure and email Linda at viperlicensing@vipertradingsystems.com, and she'll make sure you get that. But we are putting the template, the Viper workspace for like a single monitor, and the latest object trader scripts in a little zip file, okay? Because for some reason, Gmail, some of the, I forget some of the others that Linda says that won't take these DLL files, you know, so if you ever get that to where you don't get our email, you know, for new scripts, and by the way, the VIP script is expiring this Saturday, okay? So you're gonna wanna change that out. I haven't sent it out just yet, but I will send it tomorrow, and you're going to want to change it out. And it's going to be just a matter of removing the old one, putting the new one in, restarting NinjaTrader. It'll be that easy. Your workspaces, everything will work exactly the same. Okay? Also want to show you here, just real quick, we get new members and you know, people that come in. They'll try us for a month, two, sometimes even, you know, stick with us forever as far as that goes, which is what we want. If people make money, they'll stick with you, and that's what we want. All right, but just remember too that we've got all this training is available. You know, there's a couple of books here that are in PDF format. There's some little JPEGs here that'll show you how to, you know, like the trade setups on Object Trader and Sniper and the different trade types. And then these webinars right here will actually get a person started on how to trade our system. Okay. The auto region's still not yet, Dan. I've been in contact with the programmer, but you know, he hasn't gotten it ready yet. Okay, so no update as of yet. Let's see, on RTY, the large lightning 3 swing to the left really thrust up. Then there were 2 smaller lightnings, 3 went down and they came identified as down on the right. The larger lightning 3 on the left was more than twice the size of the 2 on the right. This is what confused me. On which one was that, Mindy? When was that? Let me show you what I kind of look for real quick. You know, this is enough of this right here. And you can see that we put our webinars on the site as they're done. We didn't have a Saturday webinar, so we're up to date in the latter part of the morning, and I called it going up. Okay. Let me go ahead and go to a chart real quick. And first off, I want everybody to realize just real quick, because we get new members in, what lightning actually is, okay? When you're looking at your lightning swings, it's extremely important to know, you know, when, you know, for instance, when the trend actually does change, or, you know, what you're looking at. Always look at your numbers, you know, your a priori swings. You know, right now you have a 16, a 25, and a 27. So, you know, in a little bit, this is kind of going up, but then your top is right at 50 and 51. Okay. So if I was diagnosing this, I'd be looking like, well, you know what? If this was to break down through here, I'd expect it to go to here. So I'd probably put a line something like this. And so if they did decide to break down, I'd either take the breakout or the kiss as it rolls over, or I'd take the breakout, or I'd take the kiss as it comes back and takes off. Everybody see that? There's 2 trade setups on this chart right now. There's this one here, We don't know which one it's going to be yet, right? Because it hasn't done it yet. Okay, we're looking for that trade. And we're also looking for this trade. Okay, because as we look at this chart here right now, we don't really have anything to say, what this is doing as of Lightning 3. Now, Lightning 3 is still saying it's going down, but you are getting higher lows, okay? So I kind of watch that too, because, one thing about it, when you start getting a series of like 3 higher lows and you can draw a trend line even, a lot of times they'll actually break out. This one doesn't really draw a very good trend line, so we won't draw a trend line on it. But you can clearly see it's getting higher lows too. Okay, so now once you draw your Lightning 3 on your chart, remember you've got Lightning 2 and Lightning 1. So I'm going to do we'll do Lightning 1 right here. Okay, and that's where we're at so far. Okay, that's where we're at as far as this chart is concerned so far. So is there really a trade on this chart as of right now, unless you happen to have bought support? And the answer is really no, because we're actually retracement traders. We're looking for this trade or this trade. Okay? Now, but we do diagnose our charts, and we want to know which way this thing's really going to go. So let's go ahead now and go to the actual chart, and let's see what it looks like. Bear with me one second. I'm going to put a template on this one. For some reason, my template wasn't on it. Oil, you're being cantankerous. Let me just do another chart. Anytime you've got scripts turned off, like your bars, you don't get power meters to do very well, because they're actually, they draw with colors and things like that based on MTF. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is kind of what we were looking at, wasn't it? It's just as choppy as it can be, isn't it? It's just as choppy as it can be. Now, when you're looking at this right here, I would not take a short if it takes out 27, because you got support at 25. Okay, so if I was going to take a short, I would want it to at least take out this 25, and then I'd be pretty sure I'd get down to 16. Okay, everybody see that? You want to be careful taking, a little short, like if it breaks this swing right here, to give an example. Will it actually go down to here? That's only a tick. And will it go down to here? That's only 4 ticks. So really, there's just no trade here unless you're going to buy support or sell resistance. Now, you had a sell here, and you had a sell here with predictors. Okay, these were deep bar probes, but they weren't phantoms. Okay, let's see, but the 2 small Lightning 3s were going down. On the one you were talking about, Mindy, we'll go into that one that I called in the room, and we'll go over exactly how to trade that too. I'm sure we'll be able to get there. Okay, let's see here. I think I got all the questions. Okay, so let's just go ahead and play this a little bit and see if everybody can tell me where a trade does set up. Okay, you're kind of bouncing off support, and we kind of expected that. By the way, this is not even midnight last night, so, if you're going to trade something like this, I would highly recommend scalping it. And I would not let it go against me either. Because if you were to give 10 ticks stop, and with 2 contracts, and the only way you can make money in this type of stuff is to scalp it with, a couple of contracts or so, right? Okay. Now, let's see. Is this actually breaking out of our range yet? And the answer is no. Right? You could obviously draw a box at midband, absolutely. But let's just let this see. I'm going to teach a little bit more conservative way of trading. Now, at the open of the market, like we do at 8 o'clock in the morning and then also at 8:30, I highly recommend doing these boxes. But in this stuff right here, you basically got from 28 to 51, that's 23 ticks. So you really don't want to, box it in at midband. You want to box it in more down here or here for a short. You see what I mean? Because a midband trade is not good when you can draw a box and it's right in the middle of the silly thing. I know Charles has taught that because I've been in his webinars before. There's a little fly on the wall. He doesn't like me in his webinars, so if I come in as someone else. And I'm sure he probably doesn't do to mine. Sneaky. Now, usually what I do, instead of coming into his, I just get the tape, obviously, when we get it ready to, put on our site and do it like that. I just watch it then. Yeah, I'm not real sneaky. I don't usually come into his. He'd know if I was because I'd ask questions that he'd know it's me. Okay, let's see. Okay, look, we're getting closer to the top. We're getting closer. Now, like I said, if you're going to trade this type of thing, though, you really want to either buy support at these predictors, okay, and sell it after just a few ticks because you're in a 23 tick range, or you have to stay out of it, okay? And staying out of it sometimes is the best bet. Now, what did I call just a little bit ago? This looks like it's getting a fresher set of higher highs and lows. See that? Low, high, higher, low, higher, high. So what type of a trade are we looking for on here? Anybody? No, we're still in a range so far. You are kind of looking at a long, actually, right? Because it's starting to get lows, highs, higher lows, and higher highs. But don't go falling for this in the middle of a range with a breakout trade. Because, well, let's say, for instance, if we put Object Trader on here. Let's just go ahead and do that. Hopefully it'll still. All right, now I would probably, more than likely, buy this thing down in here. Like see this where it's bouncing off support right here? I would probably buy it down here, but not at mid-band. Like something like that, and then just buy it and see if you could get 10 ticks. But how many times have you done that? And then what they do is they'll come up 5 ticks and then they'll come right back in your face. So sometimes it's better just to wait and see what's going to actually happen. Get out of this range. I know when Charles teaches, retracement type trading, when we're at the open of the market, I don't mind a box at the mid-band because you get some, 50, 60 tick moves. But in this 23 tick chop right here, if I was going to buy it, I'd probably do something like, 10 ticks, and it's already too late. See, it just came down to there, and I'm not going to do it now. See, because it came down to support, so I'm not going to chase it. Probably get 10 ticks anyway, but I'm still not going to chase it. And that kind of rolled over at resistance. See what I mean? It's just this is a hard range to trade for most people because, for one thing, you really want to do like multiple contracts and then, just take a few ticks. But if you get on the wrong side of it, multiple contracts will take your money away in a heartbeat. Okay, like 5 contracts, to give an example, 10 ticks is $500. It's also $500 if it goes against you. Okay, let's see, this is where I blow it because I need to remember to determine that it's a range. The way to determine a range is just to look at these a prioris, and actually technically your range is all the way down here, but we noticed that we were getting higher lows, so our range is actually right in through here. Okay, which is, like 20 some odd ticks, not very much. Now, without getting higher lows and everything, you might be able to box this in. I'm not going to, though. I'm going to teach you how to see this trade and if we break up, where we should be able to see the trade come back to. Because see, if you boxed it here, to give an example, let's say that you just went ahead and bought one, okay? With it being above mid-band, could you get 10 ticks? Well, probably. Okay, but you'd have to put your stop just under there. See there, we got 10 ticks. But where's your trade at? Here we go. What's it actually doing right now? Let's draw some lines. Here and here. Everybody sees that, right? Your swings to the left, and you got another swing right here if they come deeper. See that little thrust, retrace, thrust? Okay, so that's what we're looking for on this trade right here. Let's see if we can get something now. All right, remember on this chart here, we said if it broke up, pull back. So it needs to pull back into here and then take off, right? So now it is an uptrend. See how our software changed and everything? But how many times, if you would have taken this at mid-band, would you have gotten whacked? You know, you would have boxed it in, you got whacked. You boxed it in, you made money then. But how many times does it take to actually take your money before you actually make money? Let's go ahead and do this one like a sniper if we can do it. Sniper, that's going to be the bottom one. Touch, we'll do touch plus 3 and do 2. And then just in case this breaks up first, we're going to also do a sniper if it breaks line 6. So I could bring a line up here and do that. And then turn this back on, obviously. Whoops, we got 0 in there. That wasn't too smart, was it? Let's see if we get something. Remember, a retrace type trade is definitely a smarter way to trade. Because for one thing, you didn't even know that the trend was changing yet because it was just in this sideways garbage. And we've got a rule of thumb on sideways garbage that should fire that if we get, let's do 2 since it's there. If it blows through it, it won't fire it, by the way, which is good for us. Now that should have actually fired on my sniper, I think. Long inside touch. I'm going to fire it anyway because it's probably, yeah, I know exactly what it is. Bear with me just a second. It's market replay. So what I'm going to do real quick, we know we're going to get the trade, so I'm going to take this off. Anytime you pause Object Trader for, you know, quite a bit of time and everything, and we're going to put it on, we'll just go ahead and put a region now instead. See if we can get a trade. And we'll get rid of these lines. They don't really mean anything on sniper right now. Okay. See, we're almost perfectly down to where we want this trade, right, everyone? We're not quite there yet. It hadn't come down to my line yet. So, you know, to be safe on this trade rather than a breakout trade, I could go ahead and put this above line 6 because if it does decide to come up, then that's one of our criteria for, you know, heading on up. And then stealth will probably show up again too. You have the same issue in market replay? Yeah. Alex, that's one thing. If you stop it, you have to just literally restart Object Trader is what the deal is. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing going. Get us something. If it doesn't, I'll fire it manually. Either that or we're going to have to start a chart over. No trade yet. No trade yet. Now we've got a perfect little box. Looks like we're not going to get it down here like we wanted. It came close. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see where it's heading real quick by our analysis that I'm going to teach y'all tonight. Okay? Because this is really important too. Okay, let's see here. We had a thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay, we've had got a swing right across here. I'm going to mark that down on my chart too. So let's see where we're heading on this. We've got basically this thrust, retrace, we'll go into here. So I'm kind of expecting it to hit, well, probably that predictor actually, right? And it may go higher than that because let's look to the left to trade the right. Let's see what this was, thrust. Let's draw one more box. Okay, and let's see what we get. Now, keep in mind, while we're trading on this chart here, let me get rid of this box here. We want to put our stop with lightning, right? Now, we haven't even gotten a scalp yet, so I can't do lightning just yet. That wouldn't be a smart thing to do because, this could easily come down and recheck this swing again. And I'm going to let this trade do it if it wants to do it. Okay, now if it goes ahead and breaks up, we'll be fine. And then we'll put our stop just under our swing. Everybody see how we did this little trade though, right here? Notice that it actually came right down to where we said it would. See how it just came down? Matter of fact, it came right down to there. Look at that. Exactly. See that little a priori swing there on the left? Okay. Now let's see if this goes any higher. I'll just leave it alone. Let's just let it. Okay, so you got some pretty decent coin on it, right? Now, let me ask you a quick question. Anybody in the room, where is your stop on this particular trade? Anybody? Where would you put your stop? Absolutely under lightning, wouldn't you? Because, and put it under identified lightning, okay? So where's identified lightning? Well, you have a swing here, and it took out the high, so that's an identified swing. High, low, higher high, that's an identified swing. High, low, higher high, that's an identified swing. So this would be a tight stop. This would be a looser stop. Okay? 68, 61, and 65. Let's see where we're at. 68, 61, and 65. And by the way, you could have already been stopped out on that one because it actually hit a predictor. And I probably actually would, wouldn't you? Go ahead and take this one off the table. What do you think? Or we could trust it at our predictor. Let's see if it goes up any higher. Now, does everybody in here diagnose their charts accordingly to where these things will change trends? Because always on your chart, you want to know where the trend could actually change. This may stop us. I'm going to put exit on close on this. The reason I'm putting exit on close is because it really shouldn't take that. That's an identified swing right here. See it? And we're okay. We're A-okay. All right, now usually to protect myself, if this doesn't get up the top like it hits right here, I'm going to sell one of these. If this bar closes down. Because see, it just hit an a priori swing. I'm going to close one of them. See why? You've got an a priori swing right here to the left, and they hit it, but they didn't take it out. That's a way to protect your coin, by the way. Okay? And you want to be able to protect your coin. It's extremely important to be able to protect your coin. Now, let your runner run, obviously. Let's just see if we can let our runner run. Pretty decent little trade, right? Not too shabby. Does anybody have any questions on how that trade's set up? Because it is really important to know these lightning swings. To give you an example on this chart right here, if you get these lightning threes, let's say you got your lightning three way down here, you don't even have another lightning three yet. But once you do, you want to draw a line at it. Okay, now notice our lightning three is all the way down here. We don't have one here, but I bet we get one here. It'll almost have to before long because that's sure more than 15 bars. But we'll see. It's kind of choppy, so let's see if it draws. If it doesn't, that just means that it's actually not doing enough of a zigzag to draw it. Let's see if we can stay with this trade. If it stops us, we'll get back in. Well, that's close. That was real close, wasn't it? But see how by diagnosing our chart, looking to the left to trade the right, we were able to stay in that trade. See the swing right here to the left? See how they wick them? They can even close below them, but you want to kind of protect yourself with just a few ticks, and then also look to the left to see this is the immediate left, this is a little bit further left. Okay, and you want to check those swings. Should have added one down there because that was a good bounce area. Well, we won't. You could actually, you know, if this even breaks this little swing you got up to here, but we won't. We'll just leave it at 1. I'm going to show you a little bit more conservative way to trade this tonight. Okay, always be drawing on your charts, and even look at these little charts like this. You know, this is not a bad chart to look at. See how that came down just barely below that? See that swing? We had that line drawn ahead of time. Did it wick it? It did wick it. Now where's your stop? Almost right there, isn't it? Because it's trying to take out that swing. Let's see if it will. Do a little faster. Wicked it. Wicking it. You can't put it right at the swing or they'll take you out every time. See how they just touch that? They just touch it and then they take off. That's what they do, is they end up just doing like 2 ticks against you or even 1 tick a lot of times. Now, is this a good stop now? Yes. Would 68 be a good stop on that? Let's look. It's that swing right there, isn't it? And that turned out to be a pretty decent little trade, didn't it? I'm going to slow this down a little bit because that's moving pretty quick. Okay, so if you were trading this with your real money in real time, where would you put your stop on this trade? Anybody? It's important to know. Because if you don't know where it's at, you're going to give away a lot of your money. And it's not at mid-band, not in my opinion. How about this? Back it off just a little bit. Take it off. If it takes 1 tick below that, you've got 1 contract left is all. Will it keep trucking up? Maybe. But you can use your trend line. Let's see, if you were to change the bars to 8 or 10 range, would lightning work the same? Dennis, on your question. Well, lightning wouldn't work quite the same because you wouldn't be able to draw on the bars. I don't know if we've got those shadow bars still with our scripts or not. We could put them back in. We had a bar called a shadow bar. Yeah, I don't even have it in my scripts. So, but remember the shadow bar we had a few years ago that would actually do a shadow of the larger bar? I'll see about getting that back in. The only problem with bigger bars is, you know, sometimes it takes, you know, 3 bars of it, like a 4 range, to even draw 1 big bar of like, you know, a 10 range. Because, you know, for instance, see, they get inside each other's bars, so that's really only about 10 ticks right there. See how you can protect yourself on this right here? Now, right this very moment, if this was to decide to go short, where would it go short at? Anybody? I like to look at Lightning 3, and Lightning 3 is right here. Now, does that mean Lightning 3 is not going to head up also? No, but I draw my lines on my chart. If this was to decide to start breaking down, then this could easily break this and head down, right? Now, we don't know it's going to do that, but that is Lightning 3. If I draw Lightning 3 on my chart, see, that's your Lightning 3 swing right there. Let's go ahead and fast forward this, and we'll see. Oh, I took my wedge off, didn't I? Let's put it back on. Hopefully that wedge will work since I deleted the first one. See, this way you don't give away a bunch of your money, you know, just in case. Now we got it touch plus one. We're probably going to get taken out of this, and it may go higher. So you don't have to do it quite that tight. You can always bring this out a little bit. Keep the same angle, but let it float aside a little bit just to make sure. You'll give up some of your money if it does decide to come down. But a lot of times this line 6 will hold. See it right here? Line 6. We'll see if it holds. Line 6 is holding. See just a second if I got some questions coming in I haven't answered. Bear with me. If you get a cluster of predictors that tops like that, it's good to start thinking shorts. Well, Robert, on your question, not yet. Because the one thing, you know, if you're a scalper and you know, for instance, if you hit like a high that, you know, across the left of the chart is a resistance area, you know, like right here is pretty much resistance, isn't it, right here? So could you have actually shorted that? Probably. But I'd be careful shorting against, you know, basically just, well, for one thing, if this is going to still head up, what's it going to do? Go ahead and move this aside for just a second. We'll see if it does. I'll put my stop just under here instead. Let's see what it does. I've only got one. If I had two, I would have put it a lot lower. There we go. All right, we got taken out, even on our trend line. Now, where's the trade on this chart? Anybody? Are we short or are we looking for longs? We're still looking for longs, right? So what do we teach on this one? Now, this is, Mindy, on your question, where you do box in trades. Okay? For instance, let's go ahead and see if this will go ahead and give us a decent little trade. We're going to box it. I'm going to draw a line. And it should not take this out. Okay? We're going to box it with a region. And I'm going to box it. Right now, the top is here. And the bottom would be right here. So I would do this like that. So you have now you want a higher low, right? If this is going to continue up, right? Wouldn't you rather have a higher low if this is going to head up, or at least the same low? Okay, and then redraw it. See, we redraw these all the time in the room. Okay, for instance, if this goes back above mid-band, I'm going to go ahead and take that trade. Is it ready yet? Not yet. But if it does, we'll get it either way. Let's go ahead and do 2. Now, what did I say if this was to break down? Let me give you a scenario. But it has to take this out to break down, right? So this is our swing. So if this was to break down, and by the way, this has not had a phantom yet, so we would want it to at least do something like this. Pull back and kiss. That should be our trade right there. And then roll over, right? And then I'm going to tighten this box even more. There we go. We just got it. Okay? Now, if you want to, do that one as it comes out of the box and add one. That is a classic yellow bar probe that's dancing off support. Now, will it hold support? Well, we don't know just yet. So I would probably tighten my stop a little bit just simply because I don't want to give them an entire like 15 ticks. And that's just in case this thing takes it lower. Because it could easily take it lower. But it shouldn't if it's going to head up. Because what is identified lightning, everyone? Identified lightning is right here at 58.60. Everybody see that? Now, when you trade like first thing in the morning, to give an example, okay, always remember that when you're trading, you basically have micro trends that get broken, and then they check medium trends. This is what this is doing right now. It's checking medium trend. Is it going to hold? We don't know yet. But if it's going to head up, it cannot, I repeat, cannot take out 60 and continue heading up and stay below 60. Now, it could break 60 and then pop up, but it cannot break it and stay below it. If it messes with support, will you close it? I give it a little bit of wiggle room just simply because, there we go, we just got 3. Okay. Now, if you have 3 contracts on and you want to take some profit really quick, you can simply take some when it hits the previous swing, or look to the left and see an a priori. Okay. If it hits that a priori, you could take one off. Just hold your finger on the sell trigger. Okay. If you want to. You know, because taking profit is not a bad way to trade, right? Now let's go ahead and tighten our stop. We can't. See, we didn't take that out. So it's swing to swing, absolutely. Isn't that cool the way that works? Identified lightning is absolutely the way to trade. You can always tell what the trend is. You can always tell if it's choppy. You can always tell if it's changing from a long to a short. What would this have to do to change to a short? Well, it would have to break support, right? Now, it doesn't have to break it this much. You know, you can actually, you know, say, let's just break it by this much, and then come back and kiss, and then roll. That could actually be a decent short, but I'd take some coin if I got down to this swing here even, because that's my secondary medium swing. We didn't do that though. See how we held support? See how it held support perfectly? Now, nobody knew it was going to do that, but what's the rule of thumb, everyone? If they're going to head up, they have to hold the identified lightning, or at least not break it by very much. You know, so we put our stop, you know, nice and tight on that, right? Okay. It's turning out not to be a bad little trade. I'm going to run one target way up there. Now we just hit resistance right here. Not quite. We're still not there. I'm going to take one off if it hits it, unless it blows through it. But you know what else you can do? You can actually say, you know what? If this takes a bar down, I'll just simply sell one contract out of my 3. Okay. What if this goes through here though and never does a bar down? Well, then it won't close it out. Now, bar close doesn't have anything to do with T and B buttons. Everybody knows that, right? Let's see. Lightning or the green lines, where did you put that on? Greg, on your question, the lightning is, let's go ahead and let this trade just real quick and I'll show you. This is actually a pretty good little trade, isn't it? Let's go ahead and go to mid-band, at least keep our cost. Everybody see how neat and nice that actually worked? Now I'm going to have to hurry to get to Ashley's trade. Ashley, or Mindy, do you remember what time that trade was in the morning when I called it? Where I called it up instead of down? Do you remember that one at all? Wasn't it at the open? After 7 a.m., not exactly sure, but I was right though. Okay. After 7 a.m., now 7 a.m. your time, or are you Central, or which time are you on? Because I'll fast forward it to that. You're on Pacific, so 7 a.m. would be 9 a.m. my time, right? Okay. I'll show you how I did that trade too. All right. Now, as everybody see, you'd probably be wanting to take some coin like right up here at this top. Okay. And then what's our rule of thumb of staying in the runner? Well, we've got 3 on right now, so we need to take one off pretty soon for sure. But we've got it set for bar close. We could even take 2 off at bar close if we want to. That'd cost us $80, but it would also take 2 contracts off too. But what if this thing just keeps on trucking? That's a pretty good little trade, isn't it? It's right at a predictor. Is it going to hit its head a little bit? Well, we can take 2 off if it does. All we have to do is turn on bar close. If bar close doesn't turn down, it will not. Now, don't turn on reverse too, because that'll reverse the trade. All we want is out if a bar closes down of 2 of our contracts. Because we don't know if we're going to get a lower high or if we're going to get a double top. And you could actually even move this out of the way if you wanted to, because if this bar closes down, it'll take 2 off. Oh, was it on RTY? Mindy, on your question? Oh, okay. I can pull up an RTY. Not a problem at all. Everybody see a little bit more how to do this? Now, you remember when we went short on crude or called the short on crude? Charles and I didn't take it because it was, look at that go. Anytime they don't even close a bar down, you can stick with the trade. If that bar closes down, see, it's almost ready to close down. That's 3 ticks. A 4th one will close it. There you go. Just got out of all but 1. Isn't that a cool way to trade? How many of you like that way of trading? Because you can flat do it, and you can do pretty well on your trades by doing it just that way. Okay? Now, what if you weren't even in a trade at all? Anybody see a trade on this chart that more than likely, let's just close it out. I'm going to let y'all tell me where the trade is on this chart if you were looking for it. Let's see if we can find it. How about right there? Would that be a decent trade? Well, we may just break up and keep on trucking, but it hadn't checked that yet, right? And if it hadn't checked that, guess what? It more than likely will. Let's see if it does. That's kind of topping. Let's just see if it will. It's a predictor. I'm going to go a little faster. We won't care if we get this trade. I just want to see if it does what I think it'll do. I'm trying to teach you to see the left to trade the right and to see your targets. Look at that. Is that close enough? What do you think? Anybody? You got to make that decision pretty quick. Let's see if we can get it exactly. Let's see if we can get it exactly. If it touches that line, man, we may have missed it. They'll fake you a lot of times, but if they haven't checked it, they'll more than likely check it. Let's see if they do. If they don't, we just missed a trade and it's no big deal. But let's see if they check it. Isn't this what gets some of you right here? Where they just kind of football around? Absolutely. It irritates me beyond belief usually. Kind of double top there, didn't it? That's right off a predictor right there. I just missed it. I'm going to take it anyway. So it came down within 2 ticks. I'm going to put a fairly tight stop on it though. I knew it was going to do that. It came right down where I thought it would. Okay, now, this is at 5:14 in the morning. What just happened? Well, we just got taken out for one thing because it didn't bounce there. And that's no big deal that it didn't. Okay? But let's see if we can actually get another trade. And we're going to see if it actually takes out. Well, if it takes out support, We could actually short it, right? What do y'all think? You want to short it if it takes out support? A breakout trade? Let's see if it works. We'll do a touch plus 2. If it breaks, now keep in mind, you probably want to wait for it to break and kiss. That's more important for it to break and kiss, but see, it's already kissed. See that where it broke down and kissed right there? That's where the trade was right there. Well, let's go ahead and take this if this breaks support. There we go, we got it. Now, is this a phantom trade, anybody? Is this a phantom trade? Usually when it takes out your support, not normally. You know why? Because that's lightning 3 and it actually broke the swing. Okay? Let's get a Russell chart up and get that one from Mindy. Where could you put your stop on this particular trade right now? Anybody? How about right there at the swing? Maybe a couple of ticks above it. Is that a pretty good way to trade? It actually works, doesn't it? Notice how, well, I drew this way back here, didn't I? So it broke support. That was a little late to get it, but this, I had that kind of going pretty fast and it took us out of our other trade. We're okay again though. And let's see if we can get any more of this trade, or if it's through, we'll find out. Let's just fast forward a little bit and see. There we go. Anybody see how to get out of this trade? Could you draw a wedge across those tops? Back it off a little bit? And if it did decide to take it out, you could be out of the trade. Could the trade go down further? You could also use your lightning, by the way. Let me see. Mindy, you said that trade on Russell was around 9 o'clock and I called it right, but you didn't feel it was the right spot. Let's go over the oil trade first off that I called this morning, because I want to show everybody how to watch for these trades in real time, because you notice that that was called in real time. I'm going to just kill this and we're going to fast forward this to the time that we like to trade. Let's just go ahead and fast forward it. Okay, that's 6:20. 6:30-ish. Let's fast forward it. Get all the way to 7:50. This is the time we open the room, getting close. Okay, y'all ready to take a trade that was called in the room this morning? Now let's diagnose it first. Let's get all this junk off the chart because we've got to diagnose it. Let's say that you just walked into your trading room and you said, you know what, I think I'm going to take a trade, but I've got to diagnose my chart first, right? So first off, let's diagnose it over here, and let's get rid of all this junk. This is going to be kind of repetitive, but I want to show you how to be able to see some of this in real time. And first off, you've got to know what the trend is. Okay, what's the trend on this chart, anybody? It's up, right? So what are we looking for, everyone? We're looking for long trades, right? Okay, so what do? We draw on our charts. We've got support right down here. Got support right under here if they decide to break. This is what we would be looking at if this was to break, we would do something like this, and then this, not necessarily that far, and then this, right? Darn it, come on. Like that. If it doesn't do that, we're looking for this, right? We're looking for this. And then that, right? So how do you think I called that trade in the room this morning? We were looking, and let's look at the actual chart over here so we can see it in real time because I want y'all to see it. Remember, I even said you could have shorted the white box, remember? Okay, we draw our lines on our chart. We look to see where they haven't checked yet. They haven't checked here. Thrust retrace, they haven't checked right there. Like so. Okay, and we've got us a little area that we should bounce on this, right? Okay, so if you don't take that short right out of that box immediately, okay, don't go chasing it, because if you chase this now, you're going to probably hit right where I called that long, okay? Because what we did is we boxed this in. Does anybody remember how it was boxed in? We simply boxed. By the way, you could wedge it too, but let's box it. Let's do a region. And what I'm going to do is I'm looking for 87-ish, right? And we may have missed it. And we're going to do like a touch plus 2, okay? And let's see if we missed that. Now, you're going to almost have to box it like this at first, because see, you've got a swing here and a swing here now. Okay, let's see if it goes lower. And if it does, we could actually box it like that more, right? Okay, now that's an aggressive trade, by the way, buying it at the bottom. The best way to buy it is the little break, okay? For instance, if you want to do it the other way, just keep boxing it, okay? See the resistance there to the left, like that? And just turn this one off, by the way, and wait for the little break if it breaks, okay? And then I'd rebox it. Remember, I did this in the room this morning. I said rebox it. Could you take it if it took out 87 to the upside? That's support. Could you be catching a falling knife? You could be. Touch plus 2, there you are. Anybody remember that trade in the room this morning? That was called exactly like that. Does anybody remember where I called the trade that it was going to hit? 38, remember? We diagnosed our chart and we had a line drawn at 38, which was right up here. And I showed how I drew that in the room, so I'm not going to show it again because I got to show Mindy's trade here in just a minute too. Does everybody see how to take that trade right there? You just keep boxing it. You can also do this, you know, draw your trend line across those tops. You can see you can get in on that bar right there. But isn't that a better entry because we hit support? And if you look at your chart here, did it just hit perfectly where it should have? And then look if you draw your lightning 1 now. See how it just barely came below it and then popped up? Didn't that do exactly what we diagnosed it to do? Not this one, but this one. Those will be some of the best trades you'll ever make if you just simply go for that type of trade. Okay? Now, does anybody remember that we actually were trading Russell, but oil set up a short trade at the open right about this area right here, 8:30-ish? Let's go ahead and tighten our stop, by the way, obviously. Okay. And you just ride the trade. How did I draw L1? Greg, on your question, L1 is, let me just show you here real quick. If you go to your lightning indicators, they're all set up for hotkeys. So you just simply hold the hotkey down and then left click with your mouse on a swing. Now on an a priori swing, on your larger swings, you have to use a larger swing to draw it. You can't just draw it like a lightning 1. Lightning 2 is the shift key, you simply hold it down and left click at a swing. But Lightning 3 is control and Lightning 4 is backspace. Now, so if you want to draw Lightning 3, let me go ahead and move this out of the way for just a minute while I talk. Okay, this is Lightning 3. Control key, hold it down, left click with your mouse. See that? Okay. Lightning 1, what if I want to draw Lightning 1? I simply hold my Alt key down and then left click. Isn't that cool? This will make you, in my personal opinion, more money than most any indicator out there because you're seeing what's going on. Where's the identified swing on this chart right now? Anybody? Isn't it right there? Are they going to test that? Yeah, they're going to test it because they haven't tested it yet, have they? Now, what if you weren't in a trade at all just yet? Could you actually, let's say that you weren't even in anything, but you said, you know what, if this comes up here and breaks that swing right there, I'm going to take a trade. Could you do that? It's right at support. Let's see if it works. Well, I know it works because we traded this morning and it was 38 ticks, or all the way to 38. Everybody remember that trade I called in the room? I think it actually hit like 42 or something like that, but I had a line drawn at 38, if y'all remember. Okay? Notice how it just barely checks those swings. See how that does that in real time? That's why these traders are so able to take people out of their trades, because they nick them. That's why we developed exit on close, by the way, because they can't nick you that way. They have to close the bar. And if they don't close the bar, they're not going to nick you. Okay? Where would this stop go to now? Not yet. Close. Not yet. Now. See there? Lightning swing. Everybody see that? Exit on close is worth its weight in gold. I love it. It is a good feature. See how they'll kiss those swings like that? See there? Now that's a higher low, so they're probably going to head up. See there? Everybody remember that trade in the room this morning? That was a little monster, by the way. But that's exactly the way you diagnose it in real time. Just go ahead and that's not yet. I got 2 on, so I got to be careful with this. But my identified swing is right here, but it's getting ready to be here. They might wick it first. Getting close. Can I move my stop yet? Not yet. See how they're wicking it? They're wicking that swing right there. They can't take this one out, though, if they're going to head up. Takes that out, you can put it here. Not yet. There we go. Everybody see how to do that? You got to look at your identified swings as you're trading, because your identified swings make a huge difference in, how you're going to stay with the trade. And keep in mind that when this hit that 38 that I called out this morning, where was your identified swing at that time? Well, it was right here. See there? Just took you out. Remember that this morning? Hit our 38 and then just pulled back. Now, let me ask you a quick question, because this was almost at 8:30. Where would a short be setting up on this chart? Anybody? If you look to the left to trade the right, draw your lines at your a prioris. See that a priori swing with that dot right there? Okay. Now, we don't have another one just yet, but that's a high, a low, a higher high. So if this was to head down, what would it do? It would take this out. It would probably come back and kiss it. and then it would roll over. If it's going to head up, it's going to have to quit heading down for one thing because it's starting to stair step down. Here's your identified swing right here. This one is your primary, this is your secondary. If they take this out, they're no longer heading up to begin with, okay? But you can't just short it there, okay, because you've got to let it at least break and then pull back and kiss. Anybody remember the trade that set up? Let me just show you real quick, and we're going to do one more thing for Mindy. See there? Broke down, right? Now, what are you looking for? That's an a priori swing now. See, this one's negated. This is actually an a priori, and it's set up ahead of time. So what are you looking for? You're looking for a pullback just about into that a priori swing right there. Look to the left to trade the right. There's a swing here also on the left. There's a swing right here. And this is your sweet spot for a short. See there? Pretty cool, isn't it? See how that did? Okay, I didn't go ahead and take that because I just wanted to show you how these always do what you think they're going to do. And you've got to draw on your charts and be ready to take them like that. So that's what we did. Now, let's see, Mindy, on your question, let's look at Russell at about 9 o'clock, you said, right? 9 o'clock on Russell. Let's let it fast forward to Russell. You want to? We'll do that. I hope I didn't run out of data. Just a second. No, I'm not out of data. Let's let it go to about 9 o'clock on Russell. And y'all tell me where you think that it actually does change to an up. That's a phantom, right, so far? Okay, you got a red background. That's still a short right there. So we didn't get any kind of a long there, Mindy, at 9 at all. There was another short at mid-band. Matter of fact, we called that in the room this morning. Was it later than 9, do you remember? Was it like closer to 9:30 or something like that, do you remember? Because I don't see anything but shorts here so far. There's another short rollover. Let's just let it play for a few minutes and see what it does. Maybe you're off on your time. You can see if you find it on your replay. Okay. See how that rolled over at mid-band perfectly? Now, I'm not taking each one of these trades. I'm just trying to show. No predictors on that one, but you rolled over here already anyway. Now, is this along, anybody? Is this along right here? Better hurry. No. Matter of fact, it's rolling over. We're almost too late to take it, but let's just see if we can take it. Just for the fun of it. It's under mid-band. I'm going to take 3 for the fun of it and just try to get like 10 ticks. 7, 10, and 14. That's good enough. So see, that was nothing but a, quote, what? Phantom trade? So you got to draw on your chart. Support is down here. Resistance is up here. See how that came back down through resistance right there? I'd probably protect my coin at least at mid-band on my runner. And it looks like we got a trade anyway. Okay? Everybody see that? Now, what would it take to change trends on this, though? Anybody? Look at that, come right down to support. By the way, I'd probably buy that more than likely. That support like that. Simply because it bounced off support. You know, is that a risky trade? Yeah, a little bit. But it definitely did hit support. See there? Now let's fast forward just a minute because we're 5 minutes over. But I want y'all to tell me if we do get anything else that you see, and I'll do it fairly quick, but I want y'all to call it out. We got our 10 ticks. You already missed it. Everybody see it? It was a box in trade at mid-band. Did it take out resistance? Yes. See how it came above resistance, pulled back under it? So could you be long on this trade right now? Anybody? Yes. Yeah, and even draw trend lines on. By the way, I'd probably, with that little pullback like that, I'd probably buy it because it's trying to come down on top of right there. Okay, and we're in one, we'll add one more on a bar close. Everybody see that? It's definitely a pretty good way to trade, isn't it? So what kind of trades are you looking for right now? Aren't you looking mostly for the long trades as we speak right now anyway? Let's just see if we get something. Go ahead and protect it just in case. There we go. We got our target. We're at break even. We're going to go to line 6. Too fast for me. It's going to get me. It's all right. It got me. Where's our trade? Anybody? Got to make that decision pretty quick. Is that a phantom trade? Yeah, but you're late. Let's take it anyway just for the fun of it. But that's too late, by the way. You'd want to take it when it took out resistance. Okay, let's take it, but we'll put our stop right there. Let's see if it works. Held support. That's a choppy one. Yeah, we're okay. Good deal. I'm going to tighten my stop to break even, just in case. And we got stopped out. Now, let me ask you one quick question before we wrap. What would it take for this to head down? Anybody? Well, it's breaking an a priori swing, but you already missed the short. Okay? Always look to see where your support is. Okay? And keep in mind, if you want to, okay, you can box in at these phantoms. This was already a good short under here, under our resistance line, but we missed it. So what are we looking for right now? Well, to me, for this thing to really go down, you'd almost have to break this. But let's see if we can get something. Now this is a little deeper, and you do have a mid-band, but it's right on this support right here. See it right there on the left? And could you actually box this in, even though it's red background and everything? Yes. And keep in mind that this is your swing right here. Okay, this is breaking down pretty good, but unfortunately we already missed it. So we're going to be looking for two different types of trades. We're either going to come back here and kiss and roll over, or we're going to break this and head up. See it breaking that? Now, is that a risky trade? Yeah, that's actually a risky trade. You'd have to put your stop right there. See how it broke that? I didn't wait for the close. It looks like it's going to close anyway, though. Now, why did I take that one right there? Because it actually broke lightning to the upside. Okay? Now, you'd have to be careful with this, though, because lightning is right here. So you'd have to put your stop pretty much just right under there. So you wouldn't be risking that much. Okay? Now, another one that you can look for, by the way, if they don't take out previous lows, does that look like a short to you? It doesn't to me, actually, because all they did is came down and checked support. Okay? Everybody see that? Let's try to do this in the room in real time tomorrow, just like we did today, and see if we can get some very, very nice trades. This is either going to stop me out or it's going to give me a profit. There we go, got profit. Everybody see that? Pretty good way to trade. Let's just, for the fun of it, fast forward this. I want y'all to tell me if it actually breaks down or if it heads up. There's your number. So you're long from support, for instance, right? It's trying to break it, isn't it? Broke it. Broke it pretty good, didn't it? So could you have taken that trade? Yeah, you could have. I drew it ahead of time. So yeah, you could have. That's those a priori swings. You got to really watch those. Those are lightning 3, and they can be really, really good trades. Does anybody remember this particular one? I'm pretty sure Russell pretty much headed down. Yeah, look at that thing drop. And so where was the trade? Draw your lightning and you'll see it, because I drew it at the right time. See there? That was support. Yeah, don't miss out on some good trades. By the way, if you missed this, you could have easily gotten this one. Now, I had this going too fast for you to get it, but that is a good trade right there also. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. We ran about 12 minutes over. I apologize for that. Just keep an eye on your charts, because when you're looking at these things, well, this one's not Russell. You'd have to have Russell. But even see how oil kissed and rolled even too. You know, we drew these lines way ahead of time. You just got to draw on your charts. Could you mention about changing the scripts again? Yeah, Greg, on your question, what you're going to want to do is when you get your new scripts, you're going to want to remove the VIP Pro Ultimate M18 and install the new X18. We'll send it out with the instructions, and if anybody has any problems at all, I'll be happy to help. Look at that mid-band trade. All right. Thanks, everyone, again for coming. There's another mid-band trade. Look at that. Where would this probably go up if it doesn't keep going down? Isn't that amazing? See how that hit my line? Now, this is going too fast to trade. I've got it going 500 times. But see how that came perfectly to a line that I drew ahead of time even. Just learn to draw on your charts, and you're going to see these in real time. So could you have taken that trade? Absolutely, you could have. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming, and we will see you in the morning. Sorry I ran 15 minutes over. Good night, everyone. Thanks.